In the year 79 AD, in southern Italy, stood a prosperous Roman city called Pompeii. It had approximately 20,000 inhabitants and lived at the foot of Mount Vesuvius, a great mountain covered with vineyards. The Pompeians did not know that mountain was a volcano. No one remembered. Vesuvius had been sleeping for almost 2,000 years. The city was beautiful. Its streets were paved with large stones. The forum bustled with merchants and citizens. The baths filled every afternoon, and the amphitheater could hold thousands of spectators. The houses of the rich had gardens with fountains, walls painted in bright colors, and mosaics on the floors. In the narrow streets, bakeries sold freshly baked bread, taverns served wine, and children played among the carts. Pompeii was a place where life proceeded normally. "17 years earlier, in the year 62, an earthquake had shaken the city. Many buildings collapsed and there were deaths. But the Pompeians rebuilt everything and moved forward. Romans were accustomed to tremors. They did not think it was a warning. The 24th of August in the year 79 dawned hot. It was a summer day like any other. Bakers lit their ovens before dawn. Merchants opened their shops. Women went to the market. At the amphitheater, they were preparing a gladiator show for the coming days. Life in Pompeii began as always. Near midday, everything changed. A deep roar shook the earth. Those who were in their houses felt the ground tremble. In the streets, people stopped and looked toward Vesuvius. From the mountain summit, an enormous column of black smoke and ash began rising. It climbed straight toward the sky, higher and higher, as if the earth were expelling its entrails. Then, at great height, the column expanded, forming a gigantic cloud that blocked out the sun. At first, many Pompeians went out into the streets to observe. Some felt curiosity, others a deep fear they could not explain. No one in that city really knew what they were seeing. They had never witnessed a volcanic eruption. During the first hour, ash began falling on Pompeii. It was fine, gray, like dust floating in the air. It covered people's shoulders, accumulated in the folds of togas. Some shook it from their clothes, thinking it would soon end. But it did not end. The ash kept falling, increasingly thick. The sky darkened. By mid-afternoon, it seemed like night. The column over Vesuvius had reached a monstrous height, visible from hundreds of kilometers, and now, along with the ash, stones began to fall. They were pumice stones, light but hard volcanic rocks. At first they were small, the size of walnuts, then they grew larger, like fists. The stones struck roofs with a constant sound, like hail of rock. They fell on the heads of people still in the streets. A man was struck on the forehead and fell bleeding. A woman covered her son with her body as they ran. Panic began to spread. In the houses, families took refuge in interior rooms. They closed doors and windows, but stones kept falling on the roofs. The noise was deafening. Some roofs began to crack under the weight. Wooden beams creaked. In a house near the forum, the roof collapsed completely, crushing everything beneath. The streets could no longer be seen. They were covered by a thick layer of ash and pumice stones. Walking had become difficult. Those trying to flee had to advance, sinking to their knees in that gray sea that did not stop growing. A father took his wife and 2 children. He wrapped their heads with wet cloths to protect them from the stones, and they went out into the street. The darkness was almost total. They could only see when volcanic lightning illuminated the sky for an instant. The air was full of ash and it was difficult to breathe. They coughed as they advanced. Stones kept striking them. The man carried his small daughter in his arms, protecting her with his body. His wife held the older son by the hand. They tried to reach the city's south gate toward the road that led out of Pompeii. But the streets were full of people running in all directions. Some screamed. Others prayed aloud to the gods. An old man fell in the ash, and no one stopped to help him. The crowd trampled him in their desperation to escape. The volcano's noise was like continuous thunder. The earth trembled constantly. From time to time, a building collapsed with a crash that added to the chaos. The air smelled of sulfur, an acrid odor that burned the throat.